Good evening, friends. Today is Mahashivratri, and a question has been asked: why on this Mahashivratri the Abhishekam which we do to Lord Shiva is known as Rudrabhishek? Why should it not be called Shiva Abhishek? Appears logical. When it's Mahashivratri or Shivratri and Abhishek is that of Lord Shiva, it should be Shiva Abhishek. I would like to clarify this point. First of all, Lord Shiva as Sadashiv is beyond the Trinity of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Bhagwan Sadashiv is supposed to be the one who has created this Trinity. So that way, Lord Sadashiv, Bhagwan Sadashiv is above the Trinity of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. And as the Puranic story goes, on this Mahashivratri, in the beginning of this field of consciousness, Bhagwan Sadashiv appeared between Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu as a Jyotirlinga, a pillar of light. Some people say fire, that would be incorrect. It should be known as only a pillar of light, a pillar which has no end and no beginning and no middle either, because you can have middle of something only when you know the beginning or the end. When end and beginning both are not known, you cannot define, you cannot ascertain the middle of something. They were quite perplexed. What is this pillar? What is this light which we cannot fathom, which we cannot gauge, we cannot know? And then they decided to find out the beginning and end both of it. And as the story goes, Lord Brahma started journey upwards and Lord Vishnu downwards. Lord Brahma, he kept on moving up and up in the form of a swan, but couldn't go up to the end or beginning, whatever you call it, and decided to return. While he was thinking of returning, he saw a flower known in India as flower of Ketki. And with that flower, he came back. Friends, this is just a symbolic story to tell you about the man, its form, its consciousness, its astrological meaning, its spiritual relevance. We all know that as long as our spinal cord is intact, we are living. And among the 10 bodies which we have, one body is known as Hans or Hams Sharir, the body of swan. There are other 9 bodies. Since it is not connected, so I shall not go into details of those 9 bodies. On some other time we shall discuss those 9 bodies. But for the time being, the one of those 10 bodies, the known as Hams Sharir or Hans Sharir, that keeps on traveling from Muladhar to Sahasrara Chakra. The chakra which is at the bottom of the spinal cord, and the top chakra known as Sahasrara Chakra, somewhere here. So this journey of Hams Sharir indicates that a man tries to fathom, tries to understand the source of energy because of which he is living, but unless he elevates himself to the state of a yogi, he cannot understand the secret of chakras and the secret of his living being, and keeps on going up and down, and keeps on going to crown chakra, but without understanding it. While coming back, he meets our own pranavayu, which we exhale, a spent force. But this spent force is equally important. A man starts living when he takes first breath, and he is no more when he has exhaled the last breath. After the last breath has been exhaled, whatever you may do, howsoever hard you may try, the person cannot be kept living. So that way Hansarir keeps on meeting it, but in futility, because his exercise is not complete. He has not tried to understand the secrets of the body and prana. Only when he meets a yogi, a guru, and that guru would be a representative Lord Shiva, the Adi Guru, the first guru of this mankind on this planet at least, or for that matter entire Brahmand, entire universe. The first guru is Lord Shiva. So whenever he meets a proper guru, a proper master, only then he understands the secrets of his body. So Mahashivratri, that way, is just a symbolic thing that on this particular day, in the very beginning, when the time started, Lord Shiva gave this knowledge to Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma. So whosoever tries to do some meditation, some japa, he goes on the path of realizing himself, understanding this knowledge, approaching this subject. So that way this is a very important night for all persons who are dwelling on this subject. Now the next question, why Rudravishek? As I said in the very beginning, Lord Shiva dwells in the field of cosmic energy in 5 forms. First is Sadhyo Jat or Sadhyo Jata in Sanskrit. Next one is Vamadeva. Third one is Aghor. Fourth is Tat Purush. And fifth one is Ishan. And for these forms, he is known as Panchanand or Panchmukh, having 5 faces. But whenever he has to get something done on the mundane level, then he uses one of his incarnations as Rudra. And there are 11 Rudras. All those 11 Rudras, they have been created for different purposes. But in totality, everyone is known as Rudra only. So since we are worshipping Lord Shiva for certain things, for desires, wishes in this physical world, therefore we have to do Abhishekam of Rudra, not of Shiva. Shiva's Abhishek can be done when we reach a higher stage, a higher state, and we are in a position where desires are gone, wishes are gone, we are simply involved in elevating ourselves, dwelling in the field of consciousness alone. Of course, at that stage, we can think of having Abhishek of Lord Shiva, not before that. And in that sense, the items used for Rudrabhishek are also symbolic one. We use water because life first existed in water only. Then we use milk in its three forms. First is milk as it is, then curd, and then purified, clarified butter known as ghee in India. These are symbolic to show our intentions to acquire energy, have piousness in our life. So, as I was telling you, in Abhishekam, we use water, then three forms of the milk, and then Bilupatra or Belpatra and Dhatura. Water, milk, curd, ghee I have explained. Now this Belpatra and Dhatura, these have got medicinal values. They reduce the agony, sorrow and discomfort in the life of a person. Yogis have been using these since very beginning. As a symbolic thing, a modern man wishes that in his life there should be continuity, there should be suppression of anger, sorrow, anguish, agony, and piousness should come into his life. That way, by seeing these things, subconsciously a person tries to think and get himself attached to these feelings. More and more you keep on thinking, these things start coming into your life. Further, it has also got astrological significance. As the story goes, that the Ketki flower was put on the top of that pillar of Jyoti, light, Jyotirlinga. Here I may also clarify this feeling of Shivlinga and its common meaning, what is being associated, is also a misnomer, total misconception. Ling in Sanskrit means identification, mark. So this Shivling is just a mark of Lord Shiva, that he exists everywhere in the form of absolute light, not the physical light, light of consciousness. In the form of fire of consciousness, he is everywhere. It's just a mark. Since we cannot approach that level, so Lord Shiva said, this mark, this pillar of light should be taken as symbol in a miniature form. That is our modern Shivlinga. It's unfortunate that Ling has been given a wrong meaning and most of persons believe in that only. I will not take that name. I will not go into those details. I would just clarify that Shivling means mark of Shiva. Identification, nothing beyond that. Further moving ahead. So on the top of that Shivlinga, the Jyotirlinga was Ketki flower. This word Ketki has been drawn from the root Ket. It was attached to that Ket. And from that Ket, the common name in the astrology Ketu has been drawn. So symbolically, on one end of that Jyotirlinga was Ketu and other end was Rahu. And nobody could reach those two levels. As we see in the figures of Lord Shiva, that we place the crescent of moon on the top. That is an indication that the energy of pure consciousness is there at the top of the crown chakra of Lord Shiva. And the other form of the physical energy, physical consciousness, has got two nodes, two parts known as Rahu and Ketu. Since after the entire conversation, this episode, Lord Shiva decided to minimize the Jyotirlinga, so it started coming like this. That is why the motion of Rahu and Ketu is always retrograde, which is true astronomically also. So I hope that clarifies the point, and in the end, I wish you all very happy Mahashivratri, and I pray and believe and advise you all to utilize this night for your meditation, for your japa, whatever you want to do, but do not let this night go waste. Use it properly, utilize it properly, whatever you can do. Best of all to everybody. Thank you.